Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Evan and John, and you're listening to the Boomer and X Show. What's up, everybody?
Thank you for joining us for this latest installment of the Boomer and X Show. How you doing, Evan?
Good. We have a movie episode for y'all today. And with that, we brought our movie
Patrick
guy.
Neff aboard.
Yay!
What's up?
Who was with us just 3 shows ago. 7.5 months ago.
Wow. Large turnover.
Yeah, we had some deals.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all right. We've me and my show took a couple of months off, and it's been like 2 years now.
Oh man, it gets away quick because me and John kept talking about it, and we're like, it's been 6 months, and we hadn't, because he moved, and we had all kind of other things, I guess, happen. And it just took. So we're back.
But
though.
we have it Neff on because we want to talk about movies. A little bit later in this episode, we will talk about some of the blockbusters from this summer, but we thought we'd do something a little different this time. I came across a list a couple of weeks ago according to FiveThirtyEight, and they're a polling. They're more known for their political stuff, but they do other stuff as well. And according to them, they published a list of the 25 most rewatchable movies.
Yeah.
And so I got the list. I've got it here. We'll quickly go over their list, not spend a whole lot of time on it, but then we all three have rewatchable favorites of ours, and we'll talk about those.
You know what I thought was real cool is they did I guess their top 25, but then they broke it down into genders, and the differences are not that bad, but pretty different. Like Wizard of Oz is number 1 for the women, and Star Wars is number 1 for the men.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even see the gender breakdown.
Yeah, it's on that same link you sent me.
Oh, heck.
Well, the Wizard of Oz is number 2 for the guys, I'm assuming. Did you send me the guy list?
The Godfather is number 2.
So the list I saw must have been just the whole combined list.
Yes.
Must have been.
Total submissions. I might have sent you just I sent you the link, Patrick. But
you didn't send me the link. You just sent me a picture.
Oh, okay.
I have a serious question about this list once we get into it. So.
Okay.
Well, I think we're into it.
All right. There are actually 26 names on it because they did a 2-way tie for 25th. So we'll just run down it. We'll discuss it from there, and then we'll get into our own lists. Myself, my top 25 has about 50 entries. So I have a whole lot of honorable mentions. I seem to have a hard time.
That's not a top 25 list, John.
My top 25 list is
make a decision. I decided quicker to buy this townhome than which movie to leave out of my top 25.
I just picture you losing sleep last night trying to put this list together.
538. The Avengers, Caddyshack, Pride and Prejudice, Goodfellas, Finding Nemo, Star Trek. Number 20, The Notebook. The Matrix, Casablanca, Pretty Woman, The Lion King, Titanic, Pulp Fiction, Dirty Dancing, Grease, Forrest Gump. Starting with number 10 now, It's a Wonderful Life. Number 9, Harry Potter series. Number 8, The Shawshank Redemption. Number 7, The Princess Bride. Number 6, The Godfather. Number 5, Gone with the Wind. Number 4, Lord of the Rings, the series. Number 3, The Sound of Music. Number 2, The Wizard of Oz. Number 1, Star Wars. That's the consensus according to FiveThirtyEight.
And I, for about the top 20, agree with this list pretty much.
No.
And so does Neff, I assume.
No. Well, first question is there a movie on this list that y'all have not seen?
Yes.
Casablanca, and I think that's it for me.
I have not. I haven't seen Pride and Prejudice. Of course, I'm going to play my hand a little bit. I've seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah, it's the same thing, just without the zombies.
Neff, are you sitting down?
Of course I'm sitting down.
Okay. All right, because I've seen none of the Lord of the Rings series or none of the Harry Potter series.
I knew when you stumbled over Harry Potter, the series, he was thinking, are they talking TV series? I don't even know what this is.
No, I know they made 7.
They cheated. See, they cheated. They got 4 movies and 5 movies in one.
All right, look, Goodfellas, I've never seen Goodfellas.
You're shitting me.
That's a good one.
It's never come up. At Casino, I've never seen that either. It's just The Godfather is the godfather of that movie genre, and when I want to watch a gangster movie, I'm going to watch The Godfather.
There are those of us, and I'm not the only one. I've heard other people say this. And
Goodfellas is better?
Goodfellas is better.
I've heard that too. And I know that I would enjoy it if I ever sat down and watch it. But that's not a movie I want to sit down and watch by myself.
Goodfellas?
Yeah.
You want to watch it with some fellas.
I want to watch it with people. I want to watch it with at least a person. And I haven't had anybody that would be interested in watching that kind of film in a long time with me. So I just hadn't visited it.
I've got it on my list, so we'll hit it when I get to my list because I've got my reasons written out also. Of course I do.
Oh, wow, I didn't write any reasons out.
That's okay. I'm here to provide the painful details. That's my job.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, some of these movies on this list, all right, Shawshank Redemption, I think I'm the only person in the world that doesn't like that movie that much.
Really? You are, because I'm going to tell you that my mother, who turned 89 last month, loves that movie.
I'm not surprised. Everybody loves that movie but me. You know, what's the name of the lead guy in that, the white guy? Not Morgan Freeman.
Tim Robbins.
I can't stand him.
Oh, my goodness.
Any movie he's been in, he just drives me. Like when he was being tortured and driven crazy in Jacob's Ladder, that made me happy.
Oh,
because
my God.
I cannot stand that actor. I don't know why. He's never done anything to me. He's not like he was in a movie and he killed my favorite actor in some movie role or something. There's something about his look. When I look at him, he just makes me want to smack him. You know, I know. It's terrible. I'm a terrible person.
It's on my list as well, and I think everybody loves it.
It didn't make my list. I mean, I love the movie, but I don't. It didn't make my top 25. I'll say that. Everybody loves that movie but me. I know. Every time it comes up, I just usually keep my mouth shut. I'm like, okay, because I couldn't get into it. And you know, going back to this list, all right, The Sound of Music. Mm-hmm. Really? That's on there?
It is. It's number 3.
Oh, wow, it sure is number 3.
Number 3. Come on. Now, I've showed this movie to my class, my fine arts class, and we discuss it.
I will say this. Now I'm looking at the 2 lists. That is the 2 genders top. So it says right there, 58 submissions for The Sound of Music. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 48 of them were women. Well, and it's fine. It's not a bad movie. No. And honestly, the fact that it deals with the whole Nazi issue, actually, I really like it. Now, behind the scenes, going back and because whenever I show a movie to my fine arts classes, I always give them the trivia that goes with it. And that movie is chock full of behind the scenes footage, behind the scenes trivia. For one thing, the guy that plays, Christopher Plummer, he was drunk most of the time they made that show, or drinking a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you notice, when you go back and forth between different scenes, his uniform fits differently. And it's because there were some nights that he had been up for like 2 or 3 days binge drinking. Jeez. And it was too tight some days and then looser other days. When they splash the boat over and the kids fall in the lake, none of them
could swim, and they literally had to go jump in and save them. So all those kids were screaming, "Help, help, help," and it was real. So, there's just lots of cool. I mean, Christopher Plummer is a nice guy. It wasn't like that. He just was not really into that role at all. And I think it was a paycheck role, because that's usually what happens when you get those theater guys that do movies.
That movie came out in the mid to late 60s, didn't it?
I think so. Julie Andrews was in her. I mean, that was before Mary Poppins.
My mom was a Julie Andrews fan, and I'm pretty sure I saw The Sound of Music in the theater.
I did not.
No, you did not. No.
Me either.
I think I did, and I'll tell you this: that's the only time I saw it.
It's not a great
so
movie.
it's not on your list then.
It is not on my list. It's not even on my extensive honorable mention list.
Well, I don't blame you. It's then let's move on from that mess.
So Lord of the Rings, I do watch that series. That's one of the ones I'll throw in whenever I watch that.
Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Harry Potter for me. I actually prefer the Harry Potter
I'll watch
series.
either one of those. If it's on, I'm watching it.
Harry Potter is truly, that is the show that's on all the time on the Hallmark Channel or whatever, ABC Family.
A lot of them. Like
I'm not going to lie. If that's on and I'm flipping and I'm just needing something on, it'll stay on the TV.
Yeah, that's one of mine.
More than a lot of the things even on my rewatch list. That series, I can grab any movie out of that except one and be happy to watch it. And the Half-Blood Prince was just a horrible movie to me. I just like, oh my God.
How many of those things did they make?
I don't know, 6 or 7.
8.
8.
Wow.
There's 8.
Wait, well, are you counting
7 books
Beautiful Beasts or whatever?
No.
Okay.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That's the 9th one.
Yeah.
I think.
It's like a prequel.
There's 7. I think there's 7 books. The 7th book was split into 2 parts for the last 2 movies. Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a sequel that's a prequel, and it's set in America. And honestly, if you've never watched any Harry Potter and you have no desire to watch a bunch of kids do magic, but you don't mind magic, start with that one, because it's a lot of fun. It's a good movie.
Yep.
I've seen it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and it's neat. It's a different approach than the Harry Potter movies. It's not about kids.
Well, I've got a question
Or
since you've got it broken down by gender.
By gender.
I see Pretty Woman is number 17 on the overall list. I assume it's higher on the women's list.
It's not on their list.
On the woman's list?
Yeah, it's not on there.
Wow.
It's on the combined list,
Oh wait,
but not
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's on there. It's number 7 for the women.
Number 7. This is
the
the point I want to make about this. You can even dress up prostitution to a point where you can get women interested in watching a movie about it. I just find that fascinating.
And I don't mind a good chick flick. All right, I'll say it.
Oh, I don't either. I've watched several chick flicks with several chicks. I just kind of find
I've watched chick flicks without chicks.
I have too.
There's nothing worse than being single, newly divorced, and doing a movie review for a show, and it's about it's a rom-com, and I'm just sitting there watching all these happy couples, and I'm like, this is the most depressing thing of all time.
That's why when I have the TV on when I'm getting ready to go to work, that's why I put it on the Lifetime channel movies, because there's nobody happy in those damn There is some crazy ass bitch that is stalking or killing or something to somebody.
13 and pregnant, baby. 13 and pregnant. Must have seen that daggum thing 5 times.
Those because they're all so hot and they're all so miserable. I love those Lifetime movie channel movies. I love them because they're so horrible. That's why I love them.
They're fun. They can be
fun.
I don't watch them much anymore, but I was the last person. I mean, the person I'm dating right now just is more of a dude than me when it comes to watching movies. So she has no desire to watch this kind of movie. So if I'm going to watch it, it's alone. And my daughter, if I told her, hey, I'm going to watch this rom-com, she's out the door. So, yeah, I'm not getting much Lifetime movie network airtime.
So, yeah, I'll let me hit my list real quick. I guess I'm going to do my top 5.
You mean your top or your first?
Yeah, I'll say my top 5.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, my list, there's no order whatsoever to this mess.
Yeah, I guess me
Zero.
neither. I'm going to do the first 5 that I wrote down then. How about that?
Okay.
Whatever, man.
Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Fargo,
Oh,
Star Wars, and Die Hard. Any of those 5 I will watch anytime they're on. And did you owe to Fargo or Back to the Future?
Back to the Future. How could I have left that off my list?
Oh,
Oh,
you did?
number 19 include. That's also why I stopped at 18. I was like, man, we'll be halfway through this conversation. I'll have added 5 more movies I
for
forgot
real.
about. I know me. I know what I was going to do. Read those again a little slower.
Forrest Gump.
Check.
Back to the Future.
Absolutely.
Fargo.
You know, I forget about that movie, but I do like it.
Oh, I love that movie.
I do too.
just love.
Look, what's the best scene in that movie?
That's your partner in the wood chipper?
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. That's hard to
down,
beat.
She walks around that corner and he's got legs hanging out there. Oh my God. I love this movie.
Yeah, that's.
Now I'll tell you one. I love that movie. There's a lot of parts of it I love, but when she was walking through the woods and I heard that ding, I said, "Oh my God, he's putting that dude through a wood chipper." Even before you saw it on screen, because he was just that batshit crazy.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it was coming, you knew it was coming. I didn't expect him to actually show it, but she turns the corner and there's legs hanging out. I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome!"
That socked foot sticking up out of there. He's pushing it down there with a piece of firewood.
Love it. Love that scene.
And then the little lecture she's giving him on the drive home. You know, for a little bit of money, and it's such a beautiful day. You know, she's just, she's. When I saw her in that, I immediately loved everything she was ever in, whether I'd seen it or not.
I always thought for a little town, a little sheriff, and she's, a female in a movie. I thought that they made her very intelligent and a very good detective because she figured all that out and knew where. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Good job. Good show.
One thing that always, and maybe this was a Coen Brothers, right?
I have no idea.
Maybe they just. I never understood the point.
I already know what you're gonna say. The guy who ditched his wife and just took off running.
No, the Asian dude. The Asian dude that gets her to have lunch with him. He gives her this whole sob story about he was married to Linda Cooksey and she died. And then Frances McDormand is later talking to somebody on the phone, and he was never married to her. She didn't die, and he stalked her. And I never.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember that scene, but that's when I go to the bathroom or glaze over because it doesn't interest me at all.
And I like the conversation with the two girls when they were describing him. Well, he wasn't circumcised. Well, was he funny looking apart from that? He was just
he was funny looking. Oh my God!
Yeah,
yes, that's good stuff. What was the last one you had?
Star Wars and Die Hard.
Star Wars is a given. I mean, that's an ad nauseum, and it's cool to like Star Wars now, but I liked it back when you get beat up for it. But, well, I mean, I didn't ever get beat up for stuff like that, but I got made fun of for it.
Yeah.
I actually made a Facebook post the other day. It was about a year ago. I saw all the people. It was like 4 or 5 different people from high school that made fun of me for liking that kind of stuff. And they were all dressed up as superheroes for Halloween with their kids. And I almost posted on their Facebook, "You hypocritical son of..." Never mind. I'll be good. But you just freaking remember, buddy. You used to make fun of me for liking that crap. Now it's cool.
Die Hard with a
Thank
Vengeance.
you, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, there you go. Die Hard with a Vengeance was brought up by a friend of mine who I was talking with about this.
I think that was
None of the Die
one.
None of the Die Hards made my list.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is the one with
Hans Gruber's brother.
Yeah, but it was that's not what people think when they think of that one. They think about the fact that it's got Samuel Mother effing Jackson in it. And it's funny to me the best line from that movie when he's like, he keeps calling him Zeus. No, Jesus. Jesus. He's like, Jesus ain't my name, motherfucker. Why you calling me that? He's like, he called you Jesus. No, my name is Zeus. He yelled, hey, Zeus.
Hey, Zeus.
What, I look like a mother effing Mexican back here?
Hey, Zeus.
Oh, my God. I was dying. The interaction, because that was back before. I mean, Samuel Jackson really had only been in Jurassic Park, and maybe a couple other small things. But
Samuel Jackson was in Coming to America. He was the guy that held up the McDowells.
Yeah, who cares? That movie was terrible.
No, it wasn't.
You like that trash?
I did think it was funny, yes.
Oh,
but do you remember him in that, or did you not even see it?
No, Coming to America. They had
that was Eddie. But Eddie Murphy played every role in that movie. I didn't realize anybody but him and the other talk show, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio, I could do without Arsenio, but I thought that. Well, I'm a big John Amos fan. Anything he's in, I like.
Beastmaster. He's
usually in different roles than he played there, but I like John Amos.
Do you remember Beastmaster?
I'm gonna no.
You don't know the Beastmaster? It's a sword and sandals type movie. It's got Mark Singer in it. John Amos was the dad on Good Times, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was in that movie. He had a staff. He was a bad dude with that staff, boy. He'd knock you up. Not knock you up. Sorry.
He was a bad dude as the dad in Good Times. They got rid of him after a couple of years.
He left to go make money.
Norman. Well, I think he kept being a thorn in Norman Lear's side also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right,
I saw him talking about it one time, and if I remember correctly, this is a long time ago, but if I remember correctly, he didn't care for the stereotypical way things were being shown, and he kind of wanted to take it in a different direction. Norman Lear wanted, he had what he wanted to do, and I think he finally said, okay, we'll kill you off and move on.
Heart attack next.
Anyway, I'm a big John Amos fan, and he was in the original. Cool. He was in the original Roots, and he was awesome in that.
Very cool. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I added another movie in my list, so we're up to 20 now.
Yeah.
In that conversation, a movie came up that I hadn't put on my list. That was foolish of me. So.
All right, I'm gonna give my first 5, but first, as in counting upward.
So your bottom 50.
Yeah, right. Bottom 50 of my top 25. Yes.
There you go.
All right.
Number 25, broadcast news. Came out in the late 1980s.
Seen it once.
And one of the reasons I liked it so much was because at the time I thought I was going to be a television weatherman. So anything about TV news I found interesting. But I like the movie aside from that. Scream is number 24. And
Scream?
Yes.
The first one?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of Scary
on my list, man.
All
my
of them,
God.
all of them. Now, the first Scream, and we've talked about that first 15 minutes, is some of the, but if I get...
it's just,
I didn't even think of scary movies.
If I get a chance to watch Nev Campbell for 90 minutes, I'm going to take it.
Oh, my God. Help, preach it. Preach it. Wild Things should be on my list just because I like watching her. Oh.
I've got another, this one will floor you. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, what's going to floor you is that I don't think I've seen it all the way through. I've seen it at a Halloween party when we were all doing Jello shots.
I probably saw it 30 times in the theater because back in the day, me and a friend of mine would go watch it at the midnight showing.
I've got a buddy that wants me to do that with him still.
We would shoot water guns and throw toast and all that kind of shit. Now, I never dressed up, but everything else I did. So I saw that so many times, and I still love the music. I think the music holds up. Number 22, Perfect Storm. That's a weather movie, of course. I like it.
The only thing I liked about that movie was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That movie was so depressing. Oh, no. I did see it in the theater, and it was a really good movie. But that, to me, is another list for another podcast that I'd like to do at some point. I want to do
awesome
great movies. No, great movies that are awesome, but you never want to watch a second time.
Number 21, Grumpy Old Men. You can't do better as a comedy duo than Mathau and Lemon.
I've seen the movie a couple of times. It's good. I don't know that I would do better. I could probably argue the whole do better than Mathau and Lemon, but there is a charm to that movie that I did enjoy. Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. And, and I liked Burgess Meredith being in that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
It's funny when he chastises these 70-something-year-old men for being kids.
Yes, yeah, it's hilarious. He's making fun of them, and yeah, it had its moments. I wouldn't put it on any kind of list, but it was cute. Was that the fifth one?
That was my first 5 right there.
Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to give you 5. What 5 do y'all want? The ones that y'all haven't mentioned yet, the ones you have mentioned.
Give your 5. Give your 5 as you count toward to the top of your list.
I don't have a top or bottom.
Okay.
I just wrote down stuff
neither.
I liked. Okay, let's just start with the big ones. I love Star Wars. I like all of them. Various degrees of watching and rewatching, but I've seen them all a million times. Star Trek. I can't just throw them all in there because there are some that I will not watch once every 20 years, motion picture, and be perfectly satisfied not watching it again for 20 more years, the motion picture. But most of them I can rewatch over and over and over, and Star Trek 2 obviously being one of the top that I can rewatch and rewatch forever. And it's kind of special to me because it's was the very first video cassette that me and my mom bought.
Oh, okay.
Back before people did that. Here's one that's I think was on that list that you read, Evan, The Princess Bride.
Yeah, that's on my list.
I can watch that movie forever.
That's one of the most quotable movies, I think.
Oh, good gosh, yes.
That and like The Holy Grail. There's so many quotes out of those two movies that everybody but John knows those quotes.
John, have you seen The Princess Bride?
I have not.
Oh my God, I knew it. I knew you had.
Have you written down? You need to. Do you have paper with you, John, or some electronic device that you can break?
Paper?
Okay. Do you have an electronic device you can take a note on and delete and forget about?
I would do better with paper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd probably need to see The Princess Bride. I never have, but a lot of people like it.
But it's not a movie that you kind of need to see. That's a movie you need to see.
You need to sit and watch.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I mean, it legitimately is a fun ride. And it's got enough rom-com in it that I'm surprised you haven't ever seen it.
I mean, it's got Andre the Giant's in it. Who's the guy? Wallace Shawn. That dude.
Who's that?
That's Inconceivable.
Oh, is that guy?
Yeah, that's that guy.
I just know him as Fessick.
And Jenny's in it. Robin Wright.
It's got Robin Wright in it. It's got Mandy Patinkin in it. It's got the guy that was in Chicago Hope.
Oh yeah, Inigo Montoya. Mandy.
Yeah, Inigo Montoya. It's got Carl Elwes in it, who Billy Crystal is in it. His wife is somebody famous too, Carol Kane. It was a who's who of a lot of famous British people too. They were a lot of the villains, sidekicks.
That came out probably 1990-ish?
No.
Before that?
80. Oh yeah, 80s.
Huh.
It's got a
See, I know why John.
The guy that was in Fright Night. Have you seen Fright Night, the original Fright Night vampire flick?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that is the bad guy,
Chris Sarandon.
Chris Sarandon, yes. Susan's brother. He's the bad guy in Princess Bride. I mean, there is a lot to this movie. Humperdinck.
Prince Humperdinck, not Princess.
All right. Star Trek, Star Wars, The Princess Bride. So. Oh, yeah, definitely. And let's throw this movie out there. This movie turns 35 this year and is getting a revival like next week in the movie theater for like a Fathom event.
Yep.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. And I don't know that it made my list, but it's definitely one that I've seen more than once, easily, and I do like it.
I've never seen it.
Okay, that's a teen movie, and what I love about that movie is it bleeds 1979, 1981. that time period in America. It was so specific of a time period. But it is just oozing with teen early 80s.
Yeah.
Before the glam 80 hit. It was still coming down from the 70s rocker and disco look. And the lady that made that movie didn't make another movie like that until the 90s, and she felt so inclined and came back and hit us with Clueless.
Clueless I haven't seen.
Well, it's high school 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny to me that she came back and made that movie. I don't know. It's a good movie. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that is Sean Penn. That is his first gig. I mean, that is – people talk about what an awesome, awesome, awesome actor Sean Penn is. Every time I think all I see is Jeff Spicoli.
It's funny you mention that because it was real hard for me for a long time to take him seriously because that's what I thought of too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I tell you who I really liked, Mr. Hand. I thought he was Harry Walston. Isn't that the guy's name, or was the guy's name? He's passed away.
It's not Harry. It's not Harry.
Henry.
Bill. I don't know. I'll. God,
was his last name Walston? W-A-L-S-T-O-N?
Oh, it's definitely yes, definitely.
Okay. I thought he was just hilarious in there.
God, and I loved him because of that role. I enjoyed watching him in Twin Peaks, the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
I love that character. Ray Walston. I knew I'd get it in a minute.
Ray Walston, yeah.
He was my favorite Martian. He was the Martian.
Yes, I remember him in that.
I figured that movie would get a spark, and I'd forgotten about that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. See, I updated. I had it on VHS and skipped all the way to Blu-ray with it when it was in the $5 bin the other day. But when I saw that Fathom event the other day, I was like, ooh, that's got to go on my list. That is such a good movie. I'm considering going and watching it in the theater. I don't know yet. Maybe. I'm not sure I want to show it to my daughter yet.
No.
She's in junior high.
Is that you're talking about Fast Times at Ridgemont High still?
Yes.
What about the woman you're dating?
She lives in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She had to move.
Well, y'all can meet in Texarkana for movie night.
That's exactly right. That's exactly where I was going with it too. So, and I guarantee you, she hasn't seen it. Guaranteed.
It's a good movie, and I could see, especially on a date, I could see the attraction of going and seeing it in a theater.
Absolutely.
Again, yeah. I can
Absolutely.
see that.
And I don't remember. I don't think I saw it in a theater the first time when I was a kid. I don't think we saw it in the theater. All right, and the last one I'm going to throw out there for number 5 is I love, and I know it's a cliche, I love Avatar. I love everything about that movie.
Yeah,
I love the look. I love the sound. I love the actors in it. I love the way they use language. I love that movie. And I am a huge James Cameron fanboy. Aliens, and this is my theory. I call it the James Cameron verse. Nobody else, understands this because I'm a huge Aliens fan. The second movie and that. Well, he made that movie and he made Avatar, and the pulse rifles look the same. The walkers look like the loaders that she fought the alien queen with at the end. The colonial marines are mentioned in both. The ship designs are the same and visually pretty similar to what he had. And everything is revolving around the company runs things back on Earth. I think this is the same universe as those movies, those two movies in the same universe. I love the look of his films. I'm a fanboy. Big time.
I know that I'll like it when I finally see it.
You haven't seen Avatar?
I have not seen Avatar.
The highest grossing film of all time. I haven't bothered to watch because it might not be good.
No, not because it might not be good, because I understand it's 4 hours long, but
it's only about 3.
Titanic had been out 10 years before I saw it.
Well, Titanic to me is a very specific genre that I saw Titanic in the theater because I was home for the summer in college, and we had this group of friends, and we'd get together every week and go out to the movies. And that was just one movie night. We saw Twister that way too. I sat through that thing. I had just broken up with my first fiance. It was just not good to sit in the theater and watch that movie. But yeah, I mean, that was a good movie. It's well made, visually awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
Avatar
I'll see it.
breaks
I
all
will
the-
see it. I will see Avatar, and I know I will like it when I do see it.
You know that James Cameron invented his people, and he invented the cameras to make that movie with.
Yes. Yeah.
And he also made the first 2 Terminator movies.
I did not know that.
Those are on my list. Terminator.
I'm
not
sorry. I was like, I just busted some of them on your list. I'm sorry.
No. That's no, not at all.
The Terminators, those are great movies. But
Yeah.
James Cameron has made all those movies. And I love hearing his story because he was living out of his car, and his mom clipped buy one, get one free quarter-pounder coupons from McDonald's and mailed to him in Hollywood. He was living in his car, and on Monday he would go buy one, get one free, and eat 1 quarter-pounder on Monday and save the second one for Tuesday.
Jeez.
And on Wednesday, he would go back and buy another one on Wednesday and eat one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. And that's how he was living, waiting. And this is the irony. This is the hilariousness to me. He was waiting for Arnold Schwarzenegger to get done with Conan so that he could come and make Terminator. Because he'd already signed Arnold to be the Terminator, knew the movie was going to be good, and he knew it was going to be great. And he just had to wait until he could get his hands on Arnold to come make the movie. And then afterwards, and now he's made the top 2 grossing films of all time. I'm sure he doesn't live out of anybody's car.
I wouldn't think so. Well, see, I didn't know all that. That's very interesting.
I love hearing stories like that.
Absolutely. That's why we have you on, for stories like that too.
Well, thank you. All right. Evan, I guess you need to throw 5 more out there.
Oh, it's my turn already? Let's see. Groundhog Day.
Oh, that's on my list. I didn't remember it, but it is now.
And it always, Groundhog's Day comes around and they play it on 5 different channels on loop. But if I ever see that movie on, it's getting watched. It's
Oh my
hands
God, I'd
down.
forgotten.
And let's see, The Truman Show. This might be one that didn't make either one of y'all's list.
No, I can't stand that movie.
I love that movie, man.
I love the premise, but I can't stand the movie.
You don't like Jim Carrey, do you?
No.
Yeah, okay. I found out you don't like tall, skinny white guys. That's what it is, because Jim Carrey and Tim Robbins are tall, skinny white guys.
Did I say The Goonies yet?
Maybe that. Well, you talked about it, but maybe that's why I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe it is. I can tell you this right now. I don't like tall, skinny white guys that are dumb. And I'm not talking about Tim Robbins. I'm talking about Jim Carrey movies. They're always so stupid.
Yeah, they are stupid.
Oh
Yeah.
God, they're so stupid.
And
If he would
I think that's probably why he flamed out. He was so typecast into stupid stuff that once you get to where the 18-year-olds or 22-year-olds don't want to watch you anymore, and that's all you do, you don't have a career anymore.
Well, it's like when he's so old, he doesn't look cool doing it anymore either.
Right. There's that. Yes.
Now, I will give one exception to that. Have you? Pee Wee Herman got him a new movie out on Netflix.
I saw
and
that.
He looks just like he did in 1985. I swear. Maybe a little bit more wrinkle under the eye, but God, he's still at it.
Have you seen it? Because I haven't watched it.
I started it the other day and forgot to go back to it. I went to bed, but I mean, it's Pee Wee. He's doing Pee Wee. I was more distracted by the fact that he looks so much like Sheldon on Big Bang that I'm just like, I'm having a real hard time separating the two now. It's really odd.
I guess that was 2. So Goonies. I don't think we talked about that one yet. That one, John,
Goonies?
have you seen
The Goonies?
Yeah, The Goonies.
I love the Goonies.
I saw the Goonies in the theater, and I haven't seen it since.
I saw the thing in the theater 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Wow. So
Well, my mom worked at a hospital, and the credit union in the hospital sold discount tickets to the theater in Tyler, and so we could go see a movie for $2.50.
Nice.
Okay. Well, when I was going to the theater, there was no discount. That was the
back in the old golden
just
days.
because now that wasn't a theater when you had to crank the handle on the side of the Nickelodeon.
In fact, I remember taking a date to see a movie, and I remember it was the first one over $2 that I had gone to see. And it was, and I know just as clearly as I know I'm sitting here, neither one of you have ever heard of it. Screams of a Winter Night, and it was a low-budget horror flick that was filmed around Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Really?
I have heard of that movie because I knew it was made in Natchitoches.
Okay.
Solely because of that. I haven't seen it.
And
obviously, it was low budget if it was made in Natchitoches, but
it was low budget, and it may not have been released anywhere outside of Louisiana for all I know. But I remember taking a date to see that, and that was the first time I paid over $2 for a movie.
Broke the bank.
What was the name of that movie?
Screams either of or in a Winter Night.
That's pretty cool.
And I bet you couldn't find it to watch it if your life depended on it.
Oh, I guarantee you could find it. Screams of a Winter Night. I won't say what 1979 year it came out in. 10 college students go camping. When they get there, they tell scary stories to each other.
Yep.
Wow.
I remember the general premise well. The details are a little bit here and there, but anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So talking about the.
Oh, go. Well, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay.
On IMDb, I don't know if you ever go to imdb.com or because I'm such a dork. I have the app on my phone. Whenever you go to a movie that is low budget, the actors don't have pictures on their profile. Two of the three actors on this don't have names, don't have pictures on the profile. Gil Glasgow does. And he has been in nothing I've ever heard of. Oh, he was in an episode of Parks and Recreation.
Wow.
And Veep.
Okay.
Except his part in Veep was election official number 1. So he was like the third guy from the right. But still, he has a credit.
But he's got a career. Because hey, if you're spanning from Screams of a Winter Night to Veep, at least you've been around a while.
Oh my gosh. The main star was in Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, which was a Nicolas Cage movie. That truly is the worst film I've ever spent my life watching. The worst film of all time. It had Val Kilmer and Nicolas Cage both in it. And I wanted to call them both up and say, give me back my life.
Well, hell, they should have been in The Happening with Mark Wahlberg.
I like that movie.
I know we've hit that before. I can't believe you like that mess. Oh my God! If M. Night Shyamalan had been there signing autographs, I'd have beaten him up.
Okay, well let's be honest. It ain't on my list that we're talking about today.
I know.
Yeah, mine either.
But I liked the beginning. When all the people start jumping out of buildings and crap. I sat there the whole time going, ooh. Sign me up. I know some buildings people need to do that in. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I got 2 more. Avengers and Finding Nemo. Those are my most recent ones that I'll rewatch.
Finding Nemo is on the list. The Avengers is not something I've seen.
Finding Nemo's is on your list?
Is on the list.
Oh, it's on the list. The 504 list or 30 whatever list.
Yeah, really? 538 list. Yeah.
It's on. So is Finding Nemo. I have seen Finding Nemo a bunch. I like Finding Nemo. If I live 20 more years and never see it, I won't be sad. If I live 20 more years and see it 25 more times, I won't be sad.
Did Finding Nemo come out around 01 or 02?
Probably.
Because you know where I saw it? I saw it on a flight from Atlanta to Seattle.
They forced you to watch it.
And that was in August of 03.
Came out in 2003.
Okay. Came out in 03.
And that's where I saw it. I saw it on a plane.
It's okay. It's a good movie. It's not. The dad in me has watched it to death. I'm good to not watch it anymore.
What was
it's like Cars. The other one you said?
Avengers. Yeah,
Avengers. Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's not on my list because I probably won't rewatch it a lot. I'll watch it, but not a lot.
John, you're up.
Number 20, Contact.
I've seen it once.
I like it a lot.
I probably wouldn't rewatch it.
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's
good.
one of those, the endings,
It's good. It's not
Yeah.
great. It was good. I think
And
you
the
just
thing
had-
about it is I wouldn't call it a great movie.
No, you have.
But
You like Jodie Foster.
I like Jodie Foster.
You just
I
want
like
to see
the
her
whole.
naked.
I like the whole. Well, she's not, so that doesn't do me any good. I like the whole science aspect, and I like the whole thing. Carl Sagan's input before he passed, the idea in the real world that there are others out there, and that one day we may contact them. I love the premise from a real world standpoint. And I think the way we end up making contact, if we don't destroy our stupid selves first, is probably, I think it's probably somehow, some way, kind of the way it's depicted in that movie. Anyway, Contact is on my list. All the President's Men is one that I've always liked ever since I saw it. And in the current world, it takes on more and more relevance. And if I could find it, if I could find my old beta of it, I'd plug it in and watch it again right now. I love all the President's Men. Either one of you guys seen it?
No.
No. Wait, who's in that?
That's Redford and
Nixon.
shit.
No, I haven't. I have not.
Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford. Also Hal Holbrook. There's some other named people in it.
I was like, so why don't you pick a movie that's got some star power in it? Jeez.
Because it's not what I'm picking.
No, that was sarcasm. All three of those names you just named were.
Margin Call.
What?
Margin Call.
What's it about? Because I think I might have seen it.
It's the story of the market collapse of 2008 from inside one of the financial institutions that was collapsing.
Enron?
No, Enron collapsed in 2002 or 2003.
I really didn't even know that.
Kevin Spacey's in it. The dude,
That's
British,
all you had to say right there.
the British dude that played Russell Crowe's fictitious or fantasy roommate in A Beautiful Mind.
What's the name of it?
Margin Call. And one reason it's so important to me, and I won't get into it for the conversation here, was the 2008 market crash was something that I was following very closely even before it started and made a lot of money on. So I won't, again, that's a whole conversation for a whole different episode, but anything that has to do with that period of time. Another one that probably made a little bit more of a splash was The Big Short.
Yeah.
It was about the same thing, but it was from guys on the outside looking in as opposed to guys inside trying to protect the crap that they held. The Big Short was guys on the outside trying to profit from what they knew was coming.
Dude, this is a freaking star-studded cast right here.
I thought it was a terrific movie.
Kevin Spacey, Paul Bettany, Jeremy Irons, Zachary Quinto, Mary McDonald, Demi Moore, Asif Mandvi. I know that name. I mean, I know that face. I don't know his name, but yeah, there's a lot of folks in this, and you would know Paul Bettany is the Vision on the New Avengers stuff.
Yes.
And Jeremy Irons was the guy in Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was Gruber's brother, Hans Gruber's brother.
Yeah.
Zachary Quinto is the new Spock. I mean, that's
right.
There's lots of folks up in this mess.
Oh, and
I'd never heard of this thing.
And the other dude, Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci's in it also.
Yeah, who is that?
I'd
have to see his face.
Did you see?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in the Hunger Games. Oh, he's the host. He's the talk show host that has them on before they go down.
He was also he did he was in The Lovely Bones, and he was the dude that was the serial killer of young girls, and he's fucking creepy. He was so good in that. It almost, if I had seen him in that first, and saw him in other stuff later, it might have tainted my, you know,
Movie?
kind of like the Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. That was the first time I ever saw that dude. So then I can never see him again without thinking of him hiding his junk and dancing around and, you know, and doing stupid shit.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. But he was also in the last 2 Transformers movies.
Tucci?
Yep.
Yeah, he's been in all kind of stuff. And fortunately for his career, or for my viewing his career, Lovely Bones, I had already seen him in several things before I saw him in that.
I don't even know what that is.
He was a serial killer, and his victims were all girls under like 13.
Oh God.
Poltergeist is number 17 on my list. I never get tired of watching it.
Man, you picked some good scary ones. I didn't even think of doing scary movies.
I'd forgotten about that.
I mean,
I hadn't watched that movie in a couple of years. I'd forgotten about it. I mean, like, that's probably a movie I'm going to go find and watch here.
I bet 90%. I bet 90% of the population knows they're here.
But couldn't tell you why.
Well,
or what
you
it's
know,
from.
a lot of them. But I just love that. And number 16, No Country for Old Men.
Isn't that a Western?
It's more it's not a Western as in people are riding horses.
Yeah,
that's the one with Javier.
Tommy Lee Jones is a
Tommy
detective.
Lee Jones.
The dude, there's no music in the entire movie at all.
Oh, well, that's why I don't want to watch it.
No, it's just that it has this crime.
It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Eeriness to it that.
I've seen one movie ever that had no
Josh
soundtrack, and I
Brolin
hated it.
in that also.
Yeah.
To me, the big draw is Tommy Lee Jones and his great deadpan delivery of everything. Anyway, I think it's a fine movie. I watched it several times, so that's my second 5.
Nice. All right, let me throw 5 more out there. Again, absolutely no order whatsoever. God, here's one. And I've got a couple that I'm saving for the end. And my list has grown while I was sitting here, by the way. I knew it would. It would. I love Tim Burton's Batman. God. I love Tim Burton, and I want to go up and shake his hand every time I watch a new good movie, comic book movie, because that's what started it. That was the first legitimate comic book movie besides Superman that was any good at all.
Well, that was my first. When I think Batman, that's what I think of, because that's how I was. I don't know.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That's my Batman.
What year did that come out?
91. 91.
Man, Danny DeVito.
Is that the one Michael Keaton was Batman?
Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And I know
Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman.
No, that's the sequel.
Oh. That's
Batman Returns.
That's Batman Returns. Yeah.
This is just Jack Nicholson, and that's what I like about this movie so much, is because there's only one bad guy. Jack Nicholson is the Joker, and he's the bad guy, and Batman is Batman, and he's the good guy. And we don't have 15 freaking origin stories we got to go through.
Mm-hmm.
We hit our people and go, and I love that movie. It has great one-liners, and I like Michael Keaton as Batman. I didn't when they announced it. I was one of those people that was like, okay, Beetlejuice and the guy from that horrible Gung Ho movie and Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom is going to be Batman, really? That's what I'm thinking. And then I drug my mom to see that. She did not want to see that movie. No, she was the person that got me into movies. And obviously, that movie changed our mind about him and everything. It even made us go back and revisit Mr. Mom and Gung Ho and realize that there's pretty good movies.
I agree with both of those. I'm glad that you kind of went back and gave those a little love, because I think they're both good, especially Mr. Mom. And
yes, Gung Ho is predictable. It's a cliche,
right?
But I like Michael Keaton, and I have been so glad that he is coming back into the world of acting. When he had that small part in RoboCop, the remake of RoboCop, I was elated. And then last year we had the discussion or the year before about the Oscar movies when he was in Birdman.
Yes.
And I was more disgusted than I could possibly imagine about that movie being so horrible to me. But I was glad to see him in a movie. And I just saw Spider-Man Homecoming last week. And to see him in an action flick, in a comic book movie again was awesome.
I agree.
I'm
Not
just,
so much the comic book thing, but I'm a big Michael Keaton fan.
just to see him acting. But he gets to play lots of different. I mean, he gets to be Michael Keaton in this movie, and he's very Batman-like. I don't know. I just love it. Now back to Batman. Any Joker that you talk about, except for Cesar Romero's joke in the 60s, I throw the 60s out. It's a different kind of show. It's a different kind of movie. I don't want to talk about that. But when you talk about the new guy that's in Suicide Squad, that's doing his take on Joker, and you talk about the one that was in the Christopher Nolan trilogy, what's his name? The dead guy?
Christian Bale? No.
No, he was Batman. The guy that played the Joker. Anyway, he did a great job. Those are great jobs. But Jack Nicholson is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody says
definitely,
Joker, the immediate thing that comes to mind is when he takes his hat off and says, "You can call me Joker." And I was like, that is the Joker. Every time in my mind. And he always will be. Always.
I can't remember that guy's name who died, but I remember reading that Nicholson actually contacted him and told him, "Look, this is gonna mess with your mind playing this role."
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. That's right, yeah. He actually warned him playing that role will mess with his mind. And
yeah, well, no role has made more money for one man ever in the history of Hollywood than that role did for Jack Nicholson.
You know, I'll say this about that movie. I saw it in the theater. It's the only time I've seen it, but I would watch that again. I'm not a big comic book movie guy, but I liked it so much I would definitely watch that one again if it were to, come up on a TV. And I knew that was the one, and it wasn't one of the 47 that have come out since then.
It's a good movie. It's a great flick. Yep. I really like that movie. All right. How many was that? What did I say? I said enough about Batman. I only said 2, didn't I? Yeah. Talked about Avatar. Talked about Batman. What? I have Harry Potter. I have that on my list, the first one. And I tell you, it's got a little bit of nostalgia for me because when that movie came out, special effects were just getting good consistently in movies. And I love magic, and I've always been a kid at heart that wanted magic when I was a kid, adult, teenager, whatever. I've always thought magic was a neat thing to talk about. Mm-hmm. And Harry's eyes, every time they show him some new magic, the kid playing that part is such a great actor. He always looks like this wondrous look on his face, and I'm always like, ooh, right there with him. Even as an adult, I'm like, ooh, that is so cool. And he's like, ooh, I love magic. And I'm like, I do too, man. I'm there. And I love the floating candles in the Great Hall, and when they says, everybody eat, and the food erupts in the middle of the feast and on the tables, and it's just so much fun. I love those movies. I always will love those movies.
I never read any of the books.
No, me either.
I find most people who likes the movies didn't read the books. So I love the movies, but I didn't ever read any of the books. So
I didn't read the books because I loved the movies so much.
Yeah.
I was afraid, honestly, if I read the books, I'd be mad at the movies and not want to watch them.
And that's how it was for the people, because my brother read it, and Corey, and he was like, "No, they left out. You know how it goes.
Well, yeah, they have to.
I know.
Most people don't understand. You have to leave that stuff out.
You have to, yeah.
First off, the movie would be Roots. It would be a miniseries, and it would get boring. And that's just the way it is. Books don't translate to the screen like people want them to. But
no.
And here's my throw. I'll throw that. I've got like 4 or 5 in here that are going to make you go, Silence of the Lambs.
I rewatched that movie.
I've seen the movie. I've read the book. I've watched the sequels. I love Silence of the Lambs.
Should be on my list and is not. Didn't even occur to me, but I love it. Love it.
When you were talking about Contact and I said Jodie Foster, I was like, Silence of the Lambs, gotta add it to my list.
Yeah.
And I knew that was gonna be on your list. I'm a little disappointed.
In me?
But yes.
Yeah. And
it's gonna be on your list.
And it should be. It should be. I'm not.
It's number 785. I get it.
Yeah. It's it's there. It's great. It's great all around. It's great. It's great. It's creepy. It's everything about it.
And then you even mentioned it a minute ago, and I was like, yay, it's got to be on his list. We'll actually have something in common. Nope. Because I agree. That guy tucking his junk in and dancing around, he'll always be that guy to me. He'll always be James Gum.
Yes,
when I see him, I'm like, it's Gum every time.
Yeah.
Because he's got that creepy, he's got that
voice.
Creepy voice that's just huge when he talks. I can't even do it.
It's lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
I did
that quote in. I was on vacation last week, and something about lotion was said, and I just broke into it puts the lotion on his skin, or it gets the hose again. It's just everything about that movie's great, and it should be on here. But that's the whole point of the conversation is revelation and discovery.
And the finale, I have noted, and I'll see if you agree with this or not, and the finale scenes in a lot of movies lately have been kind of let downish. A lot of the action movies, there's a lot of build up, and then there's just not much for a finale, and it just doesn't end well. And there's just like, oh, okay, that was well, the movie was good, the finale was just meh.
Mm-hmm.
But the finale of Silence of the Lambs, when she is in the dark and you're watching, good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah. And the first time I watched it, I didn't know what tipped her off to turn around and start shooting. I had to see it again before I realized it was the click of his trigger or hammer.
Yeah, he pulled the hammer back. He pulled
the hammer back. Yeah. And I didn't catch that the first time, but yeah, that was good. That was good.
I can't say it.
Spoiler alert.
You haven't seen it, have you?
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
Okay. I am not yelling spoiler alert on a movie that came out before you were born.
He's being sarcasm.
When were you born?
89.
Okay.
So good. I was alive.
More on that later. Was that 5? Did I say 5? I don't know if I did or not. Let me throw one more out there. We won't talk much on it. A movie I've watched a million times, and I probably will watch a million more. It's odd. It's Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Love that film. Love that film. All these new superhero movies come out, and I love them, and I enjoy watching them. But I'm telling you, you just can't beat fighting Zod at the end of that movie in his Fortress of Solitude. It's good stuff. I think we're back to you, Evan. Hit us with 5 more zingers.
I think we need to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll come right back. And then when we come back, we'll hit our top, let's say our top 3, if we even can do that.
I can't narrow down to 3.
No, I'm not giving up 2/3 of my list.
No, I'm not either. We're going to let him name off like 15 on the next segment because I bet you he can go through 10 that you and I have never heard of.
That's true. Well, I mean, we're an hour in and we hadn't even got to the summer blockbusters yet.
I think this is a 2-part series.
It might very well episode. Be. It might be a 2-part episode. And you know what? That also solves the problem.
I'd rather release it as a 2-parter than skip on the best part of the. This has all been built up so far.
Oh, I started at the top of my list.
What he's telling you is it's a 2-parter versus cheapening it into a 1-part.
Yep.
I feel you. I'm all
right, so we're Deathly Hollowsing right now. That's exactly what they decided to do to make that a 2-part movie. They didn't want to cheapen the experience.
All right, well, let's take a break for the listener for a second. All right, so instead of going on break and post-production, what me and John decided was that we would split it all up into 3 episodes because it actually ended up being like 3.5 hours. So I'm doing the post-production right now, and John's at work, so I decided just to do an outro for this episode right here, and that's the end of this episode instead of going to a break. And what we'll do is put 2 more episodes out in the next couple of days. We'll kind of, we'll put this one out tonight, and then we will wait a couple of days and put the second one out, and then the third one out, because we got carried away, and as you heard us talking about there, we didn't want to rush our list just to get it within an hour or whatever. So this is the end of this episode, y'all. Thank you for joining us. We're gonna continue this talk, so it's gonna pick up right in the middle of where we come back from this break, but we're just gonna have to add intro and outro to it, and put a nice pretty bow on each episode that's coming up. So thank y'all so much for listening, and stay tuned for 2 more episodes on this topic coming out soon. Thanks, guys.